The Israeli-Palestinian conflict, a complex and deeply rooted struggle, has evolved over decades with political, historical, and religious dimensions. This long-standing dispute has seen countless battles, political upheavals, and shifts in power. Amidst the chaos, one tension stands out, casting a long shadow over any potential peace process. This is the tension between Israel, a sovereign state recognized by the international community, and Hamas, a militant group operating with significant influence within the Gaza Strip. At the heart of this conflict is the ongoing tension between Israel and Hamas, a militant group operating in the Gaza Strip. Hamas, or the Islamic Resistance Movement, emerged in 1987 during the First Intifada, a Palestinian uprising against Israeli rule. This was a time marked by significant tension and unrest, a time when the call for Palestinian self-determination was loud and clear. Hamas, born out of the Palestinian branch of the Muslim Brotherhood, was a response to this call. It was a unique entity, marrying political and militant activities, a combination that would come to define its operations in the years to follow. Born out of the Palestinian branch of the Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas combined political and militant activities. Hamas is driven by Palestinian nationalism and Islamism. Born from a history steeped in resistance and struggle, the group's core goals are deeply rooted in its ideology. It seeks the establishment of an independent Palestinian state encompassing the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem. To achieve this, Hamas employs a multifaceted approach, combining political activism with militant tactics. It's a resistance movement in the eyes of its supporters and a terrorist organization to its detractors. The group advocates resistance against what it perceives as Israeli occupation. Hamas has employed a multifaceted approach. This approach involves a mix of political, social, and military tactics. Their political strategy involves winning the support of the Palestinian people through participation in political processes, as seen in the 2006 Palestinian legislative elections. On the social front, Hamas has won the hearts of many by providing essential services such as healthcare, education, and welfare to Palestinians, especially in the Gaza Strip. These social services have helped Hamas establish a strong grassroots presence. However, it's their military tactics that often grab global headlines. Hamas has an armed wing, the Izz ad-Din al-Qassam Brigades, which carries out attacks against Israeli military and civilian targets. These have included suicide bombings, shootings, and more recently, launching rockets from Gaza into Israeli territory. However, the group has also been responsible for launching rocket attacks from Gaza into Israeli territory. From Israel's perspective, Hamas is considered a terrorist organization. This perception stems from Hamas's use of violence against civilians, including suicide bombings and rocket attacks. These acts of aggression have painted Hamas as a significant security threat, prompting Israel to adopt a defensive stance. Israel's military actions, which include airstrikes and ground incursions into Gaza, are often framed as necessary responses to these attacks. In this complex and multifaceted conflict, understanding each side's viewpoint is crucial. Military actions by Israel are often framed as responses to these attacks. The international community holds diverse perspectives on the conflict. Across the globe, reactions to the Israel-Hamas conflict are as varied as the nations themselves. On one hand, there are countries and organizations that label Hamas as a terrorist group, pointing to its history of launching rocket attacks and other violent acts against Israeli civilians. This viewpoint often aligns with supporting Israel's right to defend itself against such aggression. Yet on the other side of the coin, there are those who view Hamas as a legitimate representative of Palestinian interests. They argue that the group's actions are a form of resistance against what they perceive as Israeli occupation. These voices frequently call for recognition of Palestinian sovereignty and human rights. In the middle of these divergent views, international mediators have tried to broker peace. Despite numerous attempts, a comprehensive agreement that satisfies all parties remains elusive. The road to peace is long and winding, and unfortunately, the journey is far from over. The Israel-Hamas conflict is deeply entrenched, with roots in historical grievances and competing national aspirations. From the formation of Hamas, its goals and tactics, to Israel's perspective and the varied international response, we've traversed the multifaceted layers of this conflict. Its complexity is undeniable, with no single narrative fitting all perspectives. It's a testament to the intricate weave of history, politics, and faith. As the world continues to grapple with this complex issue, the path to a lasting resolution remains uncertain.